Hello and welcome to Short Story Scene. I'm your host, the storyteller, and here we have a tale for you called Inferno by Dante Alighieri, Canto 25. At the conclusion of his words, the thief lifted his hands aloft with both the figs, crying, "Take that, God, for that thee I aimed them, for that the time forth the serpents were my friends. For one entwined itself by its neck, as if I said, I will not thou speak more, and round his arms another, and rebound him, clenching itself together so in front, that with them he could not a motion make. Pistoia, why resolve not, and burn thyself to ashes, and so perish, since in ill doing thou thy seed exilest. And through all the somber circles of this hell, spirit I saw not against God so proud, not he will fell the Thebes down from the walls. He fled away and spake no further word. And I beheld a centaur full of rage, come crying out, Where is the scoffer? I do not think Merima has so many serpents as he had along his back. As far as we were, our countenance begins, upon the shoulders just behind the nape, with wings wide open was a dragon lying, and he sets fire as all he encounters. My master said, That is one of Caucasus, who beneath the rock upon Mount Avertin created oft times a lake of blood. He goes not to the same road with his brothers, by reasons of the fraudulent thief he made of the great herd, which he had near to him, whereat his torturous actions ceased beneath the mace of Hercules, who peradventure gave him 100, and he felt not 10. While he was speaking thus, he had passed by. The spirits three had unearthed us come, of which nor I aware, nor my leader, until what time they shouted, Who are you? On which account our story made a halt, and then we were intent on them alone. I do not know, but it is come to pass, as it wont to happen by some chance, that to name the other was compelled, exclaiming, Where can Confa have remained, whence I, so the leader might attend, upward from the chin to nose, my finger laid. If thou art reader, slow now to believe what I shall say, it will not marvel be, for I who saw it hardly can admit it. As I was holding raised on them my brows, behold, a serpent with 6 feet darts forth in front of one, and fastens wholly on him. With middle feet it bound him round the pouch, and with the forward ones his arms it seized, then thrust its teeth through the one cheek and then the other. The hindermost it stretched upon his thighs, and put its tail through in between the two, and not behind along the reins outspread it. Ivy was never fastened by its barbs unto a tree, so as this horrible reptile upon other limbs entwined its own. Then they struck close, as if of heated wax they had been made, and intermixed their color. No one nor other seemed now what he was. Even as it proceeded on, both the flame upward along the paper of brown color, which is not black as yet, and the white dyes. Other two looked on, and each of them cried out, O me, Agnelio, how thou changest! Behold, thou now art neither two nor one. Already the two heads had one become, when there appeared as us 2 figures mingled into one face, wherein the two were lost. Of the foreless were fashioned the 2 arms, and thighs and legs, and the belly and the chest. Members became never yet were seen. Every original aspect there was cancelled, to and yet none did the perverted image appear, in such departed with a slow pace, even as a lizard under the great scourge of days, canicular exchanging hedge, lighting apparent if the road it crosses. Thus did appear, coming towards the bellies of the two other, a small fiery serpent, livid and black as a peppercorn, and in the part whereat is the first received our ailment, it one of them transfixed. Then downward fell in front of him extended. The one transfixed looked at it, but said not. Nay, rather that the feet motionless he yawned, just as if the sleep or fever had assailed him. He and the serpent gazed at him, at one through the wound and the other through the mouth, smoked violently, and the smoke cummingly. Henceforth be silent, Lucian, where he mentions wretched Sibyllus and Nasidius, and wait to hear what now shall be shot forth. Be silent, Ovid and Cadmus and Erytheus, for he to the snake and her to the fountain converts he fabling, and I grudging him not. Before two natures never front to front has he transmuted, so that the both forms to interchange their matter ready were. Together they responded in such wise that to fork the serpent cleft his tail, and irked the wounded drew his feet together, the legs together with the thighs themselves adhered, so that in little time the juncture no sign whatever made that was apparent. He with the cloven tail assumed the figure the one was losing, and his skin became elastic, the other's hard. I saw the arm draw inward at the armpits, and both feet of the reptile that were short lengthened as much as those contracted were. Thereafter the hind feet together twisted to become the member that a man conceals, and of his own and wretched were the two created, while both of them the exhalation veils in the new colors and engenders hair, and one of them depletes the other. The one uprose and down the other fell, though turning not away their impious lamps, underneath which each one his muzzle changed. He who was standing drew it towards the temples, and from the excess of matter which came thither, and issued the ears from out the hollow cheeks. What did not backwards run and was retained, of the excess made to the face and a nose, and the lips thickened far as was befitting. He who would lay prostrate thrusts his muzzle forward, and backward draws the ears into his head, in the same manner as the snail its horns. And so the tongue, which was the entire and apt for speech before, is cleft in the bifork, and the other closes up, and the smoke ceases. The soul which to the reptile had been changed, along with the valley hissing, takes to flight, and after him the other speaking spurts. Then did he turn upon him his new shoulders, and said to the other, I've have bus os run and crawling as I have done along this road. In this way I beheld a seventh ballast, shifting and reshifting, and here be my excuse, the novelty if aught my pen transgress, and notwithstanding that mine eyes might be somewhat bewildered, and my mind dismayed, that they could not flee away so secretly, but that I plainly saw Pucio Canto, and he it was for a soul of three companions, which came in the beginning was not changed, and the other was he whom thou Galville weepest. And that concludes Inferno by Dante Alighieri, Canto 25. If you like this content and would like to support it, please head on to Patreon. That is www.patreon.com/shortstoryscene. I'd like to thank Drac for being a patron, and thank you all for listening, and see you next episode. Bye.